Dumalamba here, so analyses of sorts. Back at it again. Let's get straight into it, man.
Mama! Bona ke la isa maplanka monate jwang. Dipidiko padi na dikoloi bo sponky ba tsamaya ka maoto ha ntho ba tla etsa tshwantse ba emane ma-China ba lo reka dikoloi tsane tsa ma-China tse nyenyana tse ba palang ba go lelekise ka tsona ba eme ka thoko ha re tla bo sponky re feta fela ga ba lo etsa nix bo sponky ha bana dikoloi di nkuwe ga ba utlwa di nkuwe.
So this kind of it looks like they're repossessing municipality cars, which is an embarrassment because why would that be happening unless they're behind on their payments? I can't imagine why these cars would be getting repossessed. This is from the traffic department in Machabeng, Valco. So a member of Khatfo Machabeng, that is Konyela, Skonki. He is there at the scene of the crime, providing commentary. He's hilarious, but obviously, he's happy to see things like this. Things falling apart because it further emphasizes the point that the ANC is not fit to lead. They've run the municipality down into the ground. So, if you're in the Machabeng area, stop voting for the ANC, EFF, and DA, please.
Abani ba kolota wa ukwa koloi di le ga gana mnate ga la isa maplanka fela dipidiko pa nne dikoloi ya ntho ba tla ena le ntho e khubedu ka mogao ga ena yona ke no ikenya dipidiko pa nne dikoloi isa o e bontsha ena ntho e khubedu isa koloi yo ka mogao wa e bona e shebi gana mnate sponky hana koloi hana nthuba le gala bana dikoloi ka flight ga fiko botsa moshabeng ga bana dikoloi ba lo reka dikoloi tsa ma-China tsa ntseng nyena tse fatshe ba go lelekise ka tsona re feta fela di mathento tso ke tsa motlakase tsa ka dibeti ga ukwa bye.
Nigerians, why do you people like to lie? You will start a war, and then when the war grows beyond your big head, when the war becomes bigger than you will not claim victims. Now, I want you guys to watch this video, watch this lady, what is said about what is happening to Nigerians in South Africa. And I will say something about this video. I'm so angry right now.
Nigerians in South Africa are being paid like chicken. We are being paid like chicken. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The sick thing, the mentally ill thing about Nigerians is that they will record a video of themselves crying and lying that South Africans are Nigerians are being unalived, even though their own ambassador of Nigeria in South Africa has said that there's been no deaths, there's no killings. But they'll make videos like this to lie to the Nigerians and feed the frenzy, feed the masses this lie, to further validate their delusion, to further validate their agenda. And basically radicalize Nigerians to continue this assault against Black South Africans, this attack on Black South Africans, to try to demean us, to reduce us, to ruin our reputation the way that Nigerians have ruined their own reputation. It's mentally ill. Nigerians are sick.
Sir, we are here in search of greener pasture. Yes, we are here in search of greener pasture. Just as some South Africans are in our own country, so are we in their country. It's no longer a case of where is your document. It's now a case of leave our country. Yes. If somebody asks you to leave their country, the best thing you're going to do for yourself is to leave. But then leave to where? Because our government has made it very difficult for some of us to cope in Nigeria. Our government is the reason why all these things are happening.
So can you listen to that lie from the pit of hell? That Nigerians are being unalive like chickens in South Africa. And all these people that are carrying all this rumor, there are these Nigerian content creators that are looking for traffic on their page that are not even staying here in South Africa. South Africans have never in any time go about on the street hunting for people in the name of Nigerians to unalive them. How are they being killed? Because they are Nigerians. I just want everyone on my page to answer this question for me. There was one that they said died inside prisons. My people, please, how many people in this last year, in 2025/2026, have died in prison? Many people die in prison for one good reason or the other. There are a lot of gang battles that happen in prisons. There are a lot of things. Maybe this guy could have enemy before he went to prison, or maybe they silence him for something that they are afraid he's going to link to the authorities. They brought that story to me for me to run with it. I said, no, I will not. I want to wait for the authority to run their investigation. Now, the one that died during the Uber attack, whatever, that one, it was pure criminalities. Many South Africans die every day. In South Africa, no one carries that news. The one of the Uzo that was killed in a drug raid, that one, the case is still in court. It's still with the police. We can't speak on that one. Now, apart from that one, which other Nigerians have been crucified or even unalived because they are Nigerians? Why are we always in the habit of, driving false story to make this beautiful country look bad? Whereas we are the ones that are killing people in this country. We are the ones that are committing crime. Just few weeks ago, it was some set of Nigerians that were shooting on the street. Pow, pow, pow. Without any fear for the rule of law, without any fear for the authority, without any respect for the country and for people that stays in the country. Now, those people that were shooting, do they look like victims to you? You people should stop all this nonsense. This morning, I made a post of how the Zulus are complaining of foreign nationals disrespecting them, making a video saying that they can fight them. And I made a video, I set my camera to warn every foreign migrant not to dare disrespect the Zulus. The first 3 negative comments came from Nigeria. Now, it's to show that they are not in support of my peace. They are not in support of my plea for peace. They undermine every of my effort in educating foreign migrants on how to respect their host country. And then when something happens, when people follow their comment and then trace them, something happens to them, they will now come with a story that Nigerians have been unalive like chicken. They are not safe. In which country in the world don't we have Nigerians being killed every day? Tell me that country in the world. In the United States of America, every week they are sending their cops to Nigeria. In Asia, in all those Thailands, they are being unalive every minute because of what? Their crimes. Because of one thing or the other. And again, criminality also is another thing that is taking the life of people. In South Africa, many citizens here, they die every day. Malawians die, Congolese die, Zimbabweans die due to criminality. I have stayed in this country for 18 good years. I have worked with South African citizens. Not for once have I had a fight with any one of them. There are Nigerians that have stayed here for 50 years, 45 years with no scratch on their body. Go and ask them, how did they survive living in this place? They will tell you. And then you come here and start driving some propaganda and start driving some things. And even hear that now you people are paying foreign nationals like Ugandans and Mozambicans. You pay them to come and say something good about your country. Stop all this nonsense. Nigerians are not victims in South Africa. Nigerians are the killers. They are the drug dealers here. They are the fraudsters here. They are the gangsters here. The people who have even threatened my life, the people that I'm even watching my back against, are the ones. They are the Nigerians. They are the ones that gun themselves down. They kill themselves every day, but nobody talking about that. So please stop driving all this false rumor about South Africa. South Africans will never go out to hunt anyone just because they are Nigerians. It has not happened here. It has never happened here. Let us stop with all these lies. There are unaliving people in Nigeria. Boko Haram is killing people, especially in the north. You people are not running with the story because there is no mega church in the west, in Lagos, in Abuja, in Port Harcourt that has been touched. Let them touch one of your mega churches in Lagos, in Abuja. Let 1 GO or 2 GO, let them die with their congregation. You will see them come out and start protesting. But because those people from the north, their life worth nothing in Nigeria. Those churches, they are of no economic benefit to the country. That is why they ignore all the killings. Why don't you make content with all those killings that are happening in your country? You said Nigerians are dying like chicken here. How are they dying in Nigeria? Bloody cowards, bloody liars, lying generations. You continue to lie and cover all your nonsense. That is why evil will continue to happen to you people until you change, until you embrace the spirit, the mindset of accountability. If we don't respect our host countries, we will never have peace. Mutual respect is the only path to peace. I will always teach that.
In South Africa, we are told that our democracy is for the people. But have you looked at the government gazette this week? Between now and June, there's close to 10 policies that need to, maybe more, all requiring your input. And every single municipal budget open for comment. The critical nuance here is that this isn't a coincidence. It's a strategy. They are flooding the zone. They know you are tired and struggling. And you don't have time to read through a 100-page master rail plan or procurement regulations. By dropping everything at once, they ensure that you stay silent and they can say that you consented to their plans. This is the unroadworthy state trying to bypass your sovereignty. But we aren't staying silent. We will organize to flood their mailboxes with our collective objections and solutions. Share this or don't, but don't let them confuse your exhaustion for your consent.
Yes, of course.
Clock it.
Who are you? Where are you from?
I'm from Ethiopia.
Ethiopia?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you doing here?
I'm staying here, but I'm going to South Africa.
You're going to South Africa?
Yes.
Okay, so who brought you here?
Someone let me to stay here.
Okay.
Yes.
How many are you?
Me, we are six.
Six?
Six, yes.
Okay. Do you have papers to be here?
Papers?
Immigration papers?
Immigration papers?
Uh,
I have no immigration, another paper, but I am going to South Africa by bus.
you don't have
Yes.
passport? Do you have passport?
Passport? You have passport?
No passport.
No passport.
No passport. How old are you?
Me? I am 24 years old.
And your friends, what's the age range?
Me 14.
Huh?
Me for 15 years.
23.
Look, it's clear as day that there's an organized syndicate to bring people and flood refugees or foreigners into South Africa under the guise of refugee and asylum. Because these guys are coming from countries that are fully stable, fully functional, that have no wars, and yet South Africa keeps bringing them in. Why is the South African government forcing these migrants into the country by force, using asylum and then saying that they're legally in the country, they've got papers? It's bullshit. What is the actual agenda? Is this about a war? Are they trying to instigate a war against black South Africans here by using foreigners as their foot soldiers? That's what it seems like, because why would you flood the country with so many useless people that are not bringing rare or critical skills? And then using the asylum and refugee program as a disguise to perform an ethnic cleanse on the native population. That's what's going on here.
Abtiasa mona ke welcome batho ba shwana le mathata ke stomota sena abtiasa se tletse metsi se metswete ha o sheba mona abtiasa kole ya ha sa itekanela ha ino feta mona abtiasa ke welcome mo motsote ke thabong mo mara ke a rata batho ba teng a ke re bona ba boi ha bana taba le ntho tseo tse ngata tseo bona na o jwa mo e tletse tsela o khone o feta motho a tswe ka hae a khone kena ka hae ba bona na o jwa mo abtiasa o tletse go re ka mantswe mang ha ona go wa kena kapo o etsa jwang ha ona chance kana kweo ba tsa ba fa batho dituku ba fa batho ditjale ba fa batho tsena ka ofela bona na ho jwa ba sport center mane ho jwa mna to jwa di billion ka di tente tsa di billion ka ntho lengwe ha ba tlofa ba bua ka di billion le trillion le di what loan le di what loan what loan
That disco and key. I mean, dude, if you're a black South African, you have to be an activist because look what the municipality is making you live in. You don't have a choice. You must be vocal. You must be active. This thing of thinking that you can escape by living in the middle class or upper class, you're lying to yourself. These things affect everybody. Eventually, it will catch up to you. So stop lying to yourself and get involved with Khatfor, Machabeng, get involved with civic groups, form your own civic groups, plan protests, take the government to court, do everything you can. We're still in the throes of our fight for our freedom in this country.
e ka go sa tse 500 ranta o bo ukobelela ka billion o tla re billion ke bona o e tsebe ha o se ka e bona o itswela 1000 ranta le 1.5 ke ntho ke rena ptistela ptiasa mona velko motata ke ja re tinya motho mano kena no tswa ke mathata fela ptiasa wa e bona ke mara motho ba ntsa ga nna ke lo lata tjale ke lo lata eng ngwana ka to ntela tjale e tlo go batla ka ga metsi ena go bela ka tjale e be choponto go betse ka yona mona ke welcome mona mo welcome
And that Disconyela has the most villainous laugh. No, this laugh takes the cake, guys. Eh? Look how long he sustained that laugh. But basically, guys, stop lying to yourselves. You're getting all of these food parcels from ANC, and they're basically pacifying you with these giveaways. Instead of giving you proper services, they're giving you little blankets and bread. And you guys keep voting for them, which means you want to continue suffering. Stop voting for ANC, DA, EFF, MKP, all of them. Vote for Action SA, vote for Dudula, vote for countries that have given you an immigration plan.
I'm sorry to say this, but I have to say it, my brother. You understand? It's like this. When you have a situation like this, this is a very painful situation I can see. I came across the situation here in South Africa during apartheid era. But one I can tell you, my brother, for you to overthrow the government that is current right now, I'm sorry to say that the blood have to be shed, brother. The government is not gonna be
absolutely.
Why are y'all so bloodthirsty? I have to let him finish.
Shed for your government. Please, the blood need to be shed before you gain what you want, because of you are fortunate for the generation to come. Because the current government that is ruling the country right now, it doesn't care. I know that pain, my brother. So for you to stand up and stand tall and straight and speak for yourself at the end of the day, you guys, we have to come together and chew down to the bone. Their blood need to be shed. I'm sorry about this. Disarm those people before you're going to overthrow the government, because of the military, the police are the one the government is shielding with. So if you have that power when you unite,
let me talk next, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. We understand. So I am asking you, my brother, don't be scared of this, because we are doing for the generation to come, your bloodline. Sacrifice is a key.
You know, when you make too much sense to Africans, you lose them. So here's the South African trying to advise a Cameroonian in terms of what needs to happen for their country to be liberated. These are people that claim that they fought for their own independence, and yet they are still entrapped. And when we're giving them advice and coaching them on how to overthrow and overcome their governments so that they, the people, can be in charge of policy, they look at us like we're crazy. They don't understand what it is to fight for their freedom. They're just used to being abused by their governments and then running away and being a nuisance in other people's countries while preaching Pan-Africanism because they're too cowardly to take charge of their own country. The biggest problem in Africa is cowardly African men, or African men are cowards. I should rather say that. African men have no balls, man. They're cowards. They don't fight for anything. They just run and seek greener pastures in countries that other men have built. In fact, Africans shouldn't be allowed to have passports. They should be forced to stay in their countries to fix them until they become developed. African men are a shame.
For the success. Thank you.
Listen, these are the type, you see, I've been saying here that I need some South Africans to be Cameroonians at this moment. Because if you see South Africans, they always fight their government. That's the only country in Africa that will fight their government. They are not scared. They will fight their government, they will fight their illegal immigration, they will fight everybody. I just like South Africa. But even though I have my issues with them, sometimes I need this type of energy in some African countries. Especially Cameroon. When he was
Does this African man sound like the type of man that can take on his government? Does he sound knowledgeable enough to you? Does he sound like he has a high enough IQ to challenge his government, to take his government to court, to organize a protest? Listen to how he's talking. What do you think? African men are imbeciles.
talking that we need to share blood, a Cameroonian just type there, come and share your own blood.
When major
That comment by that Cameroonian man should tell you everything. Instead of him fighting his government and shedding his own blood, he's saying, come and shed your own blood. But he wants to gain the benefits of people in countries who have shed their blood for freedoms. This is the problem with African. African men are the weakest men on planet Earth. They do not deserve respect. They have achieved nothing. They are not worthy of respect. They've achieved nothing in this world. No inventions, no advancements, nothing. They can't even build infrastructure in their own countries. Sorry excuse for men. Sorry excuses. This man said, come and shed your blood. Talking about his own country. He doesn't even see his country worthy of him sacrificing himself for the future. But he will go to another man's country and make demands of a country whose blood has been shed for those very benefits that he's crying for.
majority of Africans, especially Nigerians, were saying that what South Africans are doing is xenophobic. Why is it xenophobic? You leave your country, travel to another man's country, selling weed, selling cocaine, selling all kinds of drugs. You know, destroying the futures of those children in that country. And do you think South Africans are going to keep quiet like the way we Ghanaians we are? So, what myself as a Ghanaian I was expecting South Africans to do to illegal migrants, it never even reached my expectation. Because some of these Nigerian stupid behaviors are getting too much. But anyway, not wasting time, let's watch this video. See what Nigerians specifically are doing in South Africa.
Chief, come, let's talk. Let's talk, Chief. What is this? What is this way, Nanja? Krista. What's your name, my child? I can see that you are wearing a shirt. What is your name?
Byron.
Byron. Yeah. So, Chief, why are you selling drugs? Tell me the truth. Don't lie to me, nah?
Let me say, I have nothing to do.
You have nothing to do?
Like, how to survive.
Okay, then why don't you survive at your own home, at your own country? Why are you coming here and decide to survive on drugs?
Actually, I'm planning just to go here.
What brought you here, Chief?
Actually, I came here to visit and go by this. Then let me see, I'm stuck somehow.
You are stuck here?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, you came here to visit who?
One of my brothers.
One of your brothers? Right. So where do you live here?
I stay here.
Where?
Yeah, in this place.
In this building?
Yes.
Okay, pick these things up. SAPS! Take everything out. Out, in your pocket, everything. Where do you get the drugs from?
I get it in the street.
Who? From who?
One other person. I don't know where he's staying.
Huh?
I don't know where he's staying.
You are lying.
Let
me tell you something.
I got my phone here.
You are lying.
You see, most of the people, you can never know where they're staying, but you can call them.
Oh, what's his name, Chief? Switch on your phone. Byron, the drug dealer, bring here. Ja. Ozoma is the one that is supplying you drugs. Yeah? Ozoma. Who's your supplier?
I do get from that guy.
Who?
The person you just called.
Who?
Ozama.
Ozoma. You get it from him. You're gonna show me where he stays, no? No? Let's tell my drugs when I'm chanting.
Onova Mark Uchenna.
Onova.
Onova Mark Uchenna.
Uchenna. What do you do for a living?
I'm a businessman. I work in the tavern.
It's your tavern?
It's my brother's tavern.
You work there?
Yes.
Okay. Where now? Mbanja Nozara. Your name? Uh-huh. From where? Nigeria. What do you do here? You got a shop? Okay. Kangan.
Oh, Joshua, from Nigeria.
Oh, you're from Nigeria? Okay. You also have a business?
I work is where you sell Nigeria food stuff there.
You sell food?
Food stuff.
Food stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Basil Igwe.
Yeah.
I'm Nigerian. I trade.
Trade what?
I sell European clothes. Used clothes.
Or you buy and sell used clothes?
I buy in Dubai, I sell here in sports.
Okay, 100%. Where now?
My name is Leonard Ogwan.
Yeah, and then? When's on?
I don't have anything to do.
You don't work. You don't make money. How do you pay for your life?
The place where we're staying, we don't pay for that.
Well, how do you eat? How do you wear clothes? Says Chief, you are wearing new mapasa here. Okay, no. Where na? Upema ku? Usebenza kuba?
Ngisebenza e-Springs la pick up le company le ikatana ngathi imoto Springs la pick up.
Ura pick up?
Yeah, ngisebenza ama weekend kuphela makuzala amabaki.
Ngifuna nda. Uhlala la. Upema ku?
Hayi mina ngisebenza.
Awupemwe?
Ngisebenza. Unabona?
Okay, it's fine. Okay, gentlemen, let's go up. Chief, hold hands. These are your friends, your brothers. Gentlemen, you must walk like drug dealers and criminals and stuff like that. Don't walk like you are modeling. Inside. Okay. Asambe nunu. Go. Yeah, as I said, say room enough. All right. Uzosise fletin like usibone sisi ukudze kuba. Okay, sister Vulare. Hi. Kama lakho bani sister. Bani? Quiet. Nomphumela nkosi. Igama la chakho. Bani?
Now, you have seen it. You have seen the kind of things that Nigerians are doing in South Africa.
Just to provide a little more context, there's a show in South Africa called Sizokuthola, which basically busts drug dealers and traffickers, etc., etc. 90% of the people that get caught are Nigerians selling drugs to South African youth. Now tell me, is that not xenophobic? Or is that Pan-Africanism? Is that how you love your fellow African brothers and sisters? By destroying their youth to enrich yourself? These behaviors don't get criticized. Instead, it's called, oh, it's just crime. Everybody does crime. South Africans also do crime. That's the excuse that's made to justify destroying your fellow black man. But where they draw the line is when South Africans push back and say, stop killing us. That is going to be labeled xenophobic. And we're told we must stop what we're doing. But nobody tells Nigerians to stop selling drugs. They say they're just desperate. They're trying to survive. There's an entire show exposing these people. And guess what? Because Nigerians are being exposed on that show, they say it's a xenophobic show because it's targeting Nigerians. How are we targeting you? You are being exposed. It's a show exposing drug dealers. And 90% of the drug dealers are Nigerian. Take accountability. It's unbelievable how these people keep making excuses when every time they get caught red-handed. They're always at the scene of the crime. And instead of taking accountability and condemning the actions of their people, they say it's not everyone. Yo, guys, No, guys. Aye.
Same thing they are doing here in Ghana too. You are selling drugs in somebody's country, making noise on social media that you are helping them, supporting their economy by employing their people. You are selling phone charger on the streets for another man's country. Say you are supporting the person's economy. Without them, the economy cannot grow. Nigerians, you guys are very stupid. Most of you people are very stupid. These are some of the reasons why some of us, we are not in support of this borderless kind of thing, because of some of you people's behavior. Travel to somebody's country doing prostitution. Are you mad? Travel to another man's country, selling phone chargers, selling weed, selling cocaine, all kinds of drugs. Are you crazy? Then our leaders are preaching borderless. Africa unite. Unite for what? Make everybody stay in their household. South Africans are showing Ghanaians how to deal with Nigerians. But Ghanaians are here playing mumu things, say government. Your government not going to do anything, no. It's we the youth have to get up and start beating these people. Yeah.
I would like to use this opportunity to, congratulate every South Africans for a job well done. What you are doing, little by little, you are regaining your country back. This is not an easy battle. It has not been an easy one, but I would like to encourage you guys to continue to fight, continue to march until you win. Now, on my screen here now is this handsome South African guy that is now having a spaza shop. Now, this is for South Africans to come together and support your own. Now, this is part of your process in regaining your land back. Now, by taking over the business that is being run by foreign national, that is also part of the process of taking back your country. Please support local business. Support yourself. Now, who are the people that made foreign nationals to be so powerful in South Africa? It is South Africans. The drug dealers, who are the ones patronizing them? It is South Africans. The ones that are doing legit, the spaza shop owners, who are the ones patronizing them? It is South Africans. You made them to be very strong in your country. You made them to be very powerful in your country. I know people will insult me for this again and say, why is it talking like this? Oh, as if you are not a foreign national. Yes, I am a foreign national with conscience. So please, guys, the way you support foreign nationals in your country and make them great, the way you support pastors, foreign pastors in this country that make them to become so rich that they can buy your community building, support yourself, support South African business. So as many South Africans will begin to come out to open their spaza shop, to open their businesses, to open their restaurant, flood their restaurant like a virus. Support yourself, make yourself powerful in your country. This is your time. This is your land. This land belongs to you. The gold, the silver, everything in this land, the riches, the wealth does not belong to anyone, does not belong to any foreigner. It belongs to the locals. South Africans for South Africa. Support yourself. This pastor shop guy, please support him. Locate where he is. And anyone that wants to open a business, any South Africans, please give me the details of your business. I will post it on my page to drive traffic to your business. Thank you for everything you have done, your support. And I pray that together we will fight this battle until you win back your land. So continue to support yourself, continue to make South Africa and South Africans great. I am so proud of all of you. You are doing well. You are warriors. You are giants. Continue to take over the land that your forefathers fought for you.
Bathong dumelang, ke ngwanana wa ane wa Mosotho a sa tlo tshoswang a buang ntho straight a sa ipatliseng lesapo ka hara tapolo hobaneng o a tseba hore tapola ha ena masapo bana besong tloe manaka maobaneng ya hakatse manaka ditaba ke le tshwaretse tsona di le manaka di le jwalo 4000 ya ba tshwaruwa ka haro naha ya Zimbabwe maobane ba lokolotswe nkutlile hantle Mosotho weso ke re 4000 ya ba tshwaruwa ka hare ho naha ya Zimbabwe maobane ba lokolotswe ha ba lokollwa hobaneng ho thwa ba qetile sekwebo sa bona kapo ho thwa ba itshwere hantle kapo ho thwa ba kula ba lokolotswe hobane mmuso wa Zimbabwe o re ditjhankane tsa Zimbabwe di tletsetswete mmuso wa Zimbabwe o lokollotse batshwaruwa ba 4000 mabapi le taba ya hore ditjhankane tsa bona di tletsetswete jwale Mosotho weso ke ne ke o tsebe hore 4000 eo e tla e lebile mona South Africa mona ngwaneso baneng maZimbabwe bona ba nahana hore South Africa mona nanana ke makgulong a matala jwale e tla e lebile mona e tla re ha e fitla mona 4000 e lo fitlela diplasing mane ba fihle ba gagata bo rapolasi ba rona ba bolaya bo rapolasi le bo mapolasi ba rona ebe ho ntso thwa ma South Africa a bolaya bo rapolasi e le maZimbabwe gona re dutse ka makeisheneng ha re tsebe le ho tseba hore bo rapolasi ba rona ba ntse ba bolawa dipolasi se dinkwe ke maZimbabwe jwale ke ne ke re o tsebe wena Mosotho weso hore ha ntse re lla hona le 4000 e tsileng e tlang re ntse re bokolla re lla ka bona ka baka la hore wena ha o batla ho etsa nix o thabela dithethefatsi di rekiswe o thabela hore dikgwebo di tshwarwe ke maBangladesh ba nanana ba beyang tjhelete ka di-suitcase ba diang moruo wa rona wa naha ere motho ha a tsamaya mona nana o tsamaya ka suitcase e tletseng tjhelete ha fitla kwana wa o tjhentjha tjhelete o e etsa ya naheng ya bona o ya naheng ya bona o lo sebedisa tjhelete eo mo a dutse 20 years mona a sa patale tax wena o ntso ya o la re tla reka kaya ke re lona le iketsa betere le re rekisetsa stala
Okay. She's saying a lot here about how Zimbabwe has released 4,000 prisoners, not because they finished their sentence or serving their time, but because they said that their prisons are full. Do you know how insane it is to just release criminals because you say you don't have capacity? Why didn't you plan to build more prisons then? Because those 4,000, because we've got borderlessness, those 4,000 criminals are going to come into South Africa to do what? To genocide South African natives. That's why they're being released. I don't know if South Africans understand what's going on here. The entire African continent is hell-bent on genociding and ethnically cleansing Black South Africans and removing us off the planet. Because that's what the white master wants in South Africa. They want compliant slaves. And Africans are the perfect and most compliant slaves, not Black South Africans. Black South Africans refuse to be slaves. The rest of the African continent is very happy to be under white rule. They pretend that they're not, but they love it. That's why they're fighting to be South Africans.
o nana hore ntho ntse e etsa ke bohlale bona o ipolelletse hore ha ke bohlale nna ha ke ya ke lo supporta le Bangladesh ke bohlale ke sa support motho a motho ha ke jwale ne ke re o tsebe hore Chatunga mora Mugabe Chatanga kapo ke Chatunga Mugabe o hanetswe beili ka taba ya hore ka nthe abuti ona ntse le ka rona hana dipampiri abuti ona nana hantsa a le ditlapong mo a hlapa matsoho ka di champagne a nwa dikonyeke ka dikhavela ka nthe mistera hana dipampiri jwale ba mahanetse beili o mona tjhankane ebile nna ntse ke belaela ba sethunya se so tholo ntse ke belaela hore le yena ko mongwe ya ka bang o tlisitse maZimbabwe ka ha rona ha ena ya rona ka tsela e seng hantle hoba kuo hlakile hore le yena ha isala le ka rona ha ye ya rona ka tsela e seng hantle wena ha ona stress ha ona bothata o ntso re eng ho bua wa thusa bana beso buang re thole thuso jwale bo rakgwebo tsena tse nyenyana maobane ba le ba kopana bo rakgwebo ba nanana le bo mmakgwebo bana ba tshwereng dikgwebo tsena tse nyenyana ba ile ba kopana ba kopa mmuso hore re kopa le re thuse hore re ntshe ma Bangladesh a nanana le ma Ethiopia ana le ma Nigeria a nanana le ma Zimbabwe ana hobaneng bana ba di tech shop le bana ba di saloon le bana nana ba di khurunte ha o qala fela wena hore o qala kgwebonyana ya hao o le letswalla la South Africa ba tla ka taxi ba tlo tshosetsa go kgwebo ya hao e ska tlo sitisa kgwebo tsa bona jwale wena Mosotho weso o bore rona motho o tla be sale o ile o lo reka borotho ha bo yo beke kaofela ke tsaba ho rekisetswa baneng ke a tshosetswa ene wena nke go supporta matswantle wena o tsheetsa matswantle o eme le matswantle jwanong ne ke re o tsebe fela Mosotho weso hore ho bua wa thusa ebile ke ne ke re ha jwale re nkeng monyetla wona hore re feng dihlabeng local municipality malomo a teng re ba fe malomo a bona ka hobaneng baahi ba ile ba kopana le maponesa ba kopana le basebetsi bane ba di-immigrants ba sebetsang ka matswantle ba kopana ba etsa ngatana e nngwe ba kena ka hare ho makeishene ba ntsha ma Bangladesh bana beso ba ntsha ma Ethiopia ha o sena dipampiri tsa hore o be le kgwebo bane ba o ntsha ba ba ntshitse ha ke bua le wena haeba ha o tsebe dihlabeng local municipality ke bane ba botjhabela ba Free State mahlakoreng ana bo di Rosendal bo di Forisberg bo di Clarence masaeteng ao ba ile ba entse ntho ntle hampe ke ntho e ke reng re ba fe malomo a bona hoba nna ke le tjena ke le ngwana na Mosotho ke ikotla sefuba ka bona ba entse mosebetsi o motle eka di local municipalities tse ding di ka bona ntho e ntsweng ke dihlabeng municipality mona Free State monana eka le ka bona re kopaneng re etseng ntho e ntsuweng ke dihlabeng local municipality re etse ntho e ntsuweng mane Tinizela bana ba so Tinizela ka hare ho location ha ona makula ha ona ma Bangladesh ke bona ba itshwaretseng dishopo tsa bona Tinizela kwa jwale tsoa Mosotho weso tsoa nako e sa le teng.
Government must stop letting NGOs decide South Africa's energy future. Right now, a court case that could shape South Africa's future energy system is happening. Let's talk about it. Hello guys, my name is Prince Mtombeni Umaduma, founder of Africa for Nuclear. 3 organizations, Greenpeace Africa, Earth Life Africa, Southern African Faith Communities Environment Institute, SAFSEI, are trying to block a new nuclear power plant in Cape Town. What exactly is their argument? Well, they're asking the
So imagine we have NGOs that are dictating policy, unelected international bodies that are stopping us from industrializing and improving our countries, stopping us from developing our countries, taking our government to court anytime we want to industrialize ourselves. What do you think these NGOs, what purpose do you think they're serving, if not to try to collapse South Africa? Unelected international bodies should not have that much influence. If they want to have influence in the country, open up a political party in South Africa, lobby for votes, and win elections. But they're playing a dirty game, and this door has been left open for NGOs deliberately because the plan was always for globalists to take control of every single country and enforce the New World Order upon people.
court to cancel the environmental approval granted in 2017. Their case is that that project was approved using outdated information. 2, alternatives like renewables were not properly considered. 3, government did not prove the need for this specific plant. And lastly, the decision was legally flawed and irrational. In simple terms, the approval process was unlawful. Now tell me, is this real activism or an attempt to block or delay national infrastructure project through courts? That approval was granted in 2017. Had it gone ahead, South Africa could already have a nuclear power coming online. But instead, we got stage 6 to stage 8 of load shedding. Now, that's the real cost of this delay. While South Africa argues in court, the world is building. Right now, over 75 nuclear reactors are under construction globally, including projects in China, India, Russia, Turkey, and Egypt. So serious economies are not abandoning nuclear. They are expanding it. They are not listening to NGOs. This debate comes down to one thing and one thing only: reliability. Nuclear provides a baseload power, that electricity 24/7, and it runs over 90% of the time. Meanwhile, renewables, particularly wind and solar, often run below 30%. So you cannot industrialize a country with power that comes and goes. And we already know this. Our only nuclear power station in Cape Town, Quebec, has operated safely since 1986. It contributes over 23 billion to South Africa's GDP. It supports thousands of jobs and is critical for grid stability. Nuclear is one of the cleanest energy sources available. It produces no direct carbon emissions. United Nations-backed research shows nuclear has among the lowest life cycle emissions of any energy source, around 12 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour. Now, let's deal with the biggest fear, nuclear waste, because this is where the debate is often misleading. Nuclear waste from power plants is contained, regulated, and monitored under international standards. South Africa is part of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, which means we follow global safety rules. Now, here's the reality. Nuclear has been in existence for many, many decades, and there's never been a major environmental disaster caused by civilian nuclear waste. What people fear is usually linked to weapons program, not modern nuclear energy. Now, here's the real question. If nuclear is clean, reliable, and used across the world, why are these NGOs trying to block it here? Are they protecting the environment or trying to decide South Africa's energy policy without a democratic mandate? And if these NGOs argue about cost and energy planning, where is proof that renewables alone could reliably power a country like South Africa? South Africa's energy transition is expected to cost around 1.5 trillion rand. But surprisingly, nuclear, which provides constant power, is where the strongest opposition appears. And this contradiction deserves scrutiny. And this is where we, as the public, should step in. Our energy policy cannot be decided only in courtrooms. South Africans have the right to be heard. And this is not about ideology. This is about whether South Africa chooses reliable power or permanent uncertainty. Because without reliable power, there is no economy. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.
I was the first person ukuletha belungu kwamashu ukuzodlala irugby. Amasharks aqala nqa ukuyodlala irugby kwamashu ngam.
Oyeki ground unamanga. Aliki ground le rugby.
Emagogo stadium ngokusendela nezithombe mina engayenza leyo nto.
Khamana ikhona irugby stadium kwamashu.
Angithi lula lento basusa ama poles ebhola bafaka ama poles it was an official game yamasharks.
Shothi ngadlala nasemazuma pitch rugby.
Yebo. Yes, it's the same size.
Same field.
Yes.
Why is it so hard for some Ghanaians to admit or to condemn what is happening right now in South Africa? Why is it so hard? Why is it so difficult for you to condemn what is happening right now in South Africa?
Because Ghanaians are intelligent people. Yes, Ghanaians are very intelligent people. And the situation is that it's not some Ghanaians, it's actually majority of Ghanaians. Majority of Ghanaians cannot condemn what is happening in South Africa. Majority of Ghanaians cannot condemn South Africans. You know why? Because Ghanaians actually know what it means to fix their society. That's why they resonate with South Africans. I've had, by the grace of God, a couple of lives, so I can.
It's actually madness for somebody to say Ghanaians need to condemn what's going on in South Africa when Ghanaians are doing the same thing. Not only now, even in the past, they kicked out Nigerians. They had a whole Nigeria must go campaign. But today they want to tell us about Pan-Africanism. It doesn't work like that. It cannot work like that. It cannot be that you guys are allowed to cleanse your society of unwanted foreigners, and then when other people do the same to you, all of a sudden it's a problem. Now you want to be Pan-Africanist and you want to force it down our throats. Meanwhile, you are also still kicking out foreigners in your own country. Hence why Ace says intelligent people don't think like this, and Ghanaians are intelligent people. So I don't know where this guy comes from talking this nonsense.
How Ghanaians feel about this. They don't have a problem. In fact, they are begging South Africans to be very quick in expelling even their own brothers. Because Ghanaians, you see, I always tell people that when you begin to advance yourself, when you begin to imbibe superior mentality, there are things you thought were evil that you begin to see it's not evil.
For example, the capitalization of Westerners, you begin to understand that. Don't worry. Some African societies are beginning to elevate themselves. Some African societies are beginning to develop. There is a point you will get to. You start seeing what a Westerner saw as to why he had to go to Africa to make use, to seek for their natural resources. Because here's something you don't know. You see, when a man is stagnant, if you're developing, there is a stage in your life that you begin to, when you're developing, in your process of development, there is this length you reach in your development. You begin to understand that you would have a futuristic problem with the person around you, with the people around you that are stagnant. So what you have to do is to move those people to become resourceful. Because if you don't do it, these people would inhibit your process of development. That's why Westerners did what they are doing. How could you have resources that can move the globe and you're sitting on it? Ignorance is wickedness. You have resources like gold, you have resources like oil, and you're sitting on it. Even the universe will aid a Westerner to move that Westerner, to move you away, so that the Westerner can make use of those natural resources. Haven't you read the parable of the 10 talents? If you cannot maximize your potential, the Lord of the universe will raise men to throw you into prison and will take that talent, that resources that are given to you, and give to the other person, so that the world would be developed in its entirety. That is the way that the universe develops itself. The universe will raise men that can maximize or utilize the potential that you have refused to utilize.
Ace is 100% right. There is a level in your development that you reach where you begin to understand that Pan-Africanism is for losers. It's a nonsense philosophy for people that have failed to develop their own countries due to their own incompetence. So they want to drag everybody down along with them because of their inability to build on their own with their own people and their own communities. There's a level at which you begin to actually understand white people. White men begin to make sense when you are seeking development. And when you reach a certain level in your development and you realize these people here around me are dragging me down, and those people are Africans. You can't relate if you're not developed enough. You reach a level where you begin to understand why it's important to eliminate anything that is dragging you down. You must remove those barriers. And those barriers are people that come from third world countries, because they bring that mentality that caused their country to be a third world into your country. This is why our governments keep importing third world people to turn our countries into third world countries, to bring crises. That will make it easier for the New World Order to propose a solution where they'll centralize power and say we will eradicate illegal immigration because we will monitor what everybody's doing and where they are. Don't fall for it, guys. But anyway, I'm not even beginning. I've been understanding white men and whiteness more and more. The more we deal with ignorant Africans that don't want to work and build their own countries, the more I understand why white men dealt with black people the way that they have over the centuries. Whipping and beating them. Because you basically have to beat sense into a black man. You have to beat sense into an African man. They don't have the IQ. So the only thing they respond to is when you beat them. You give them an instruction. If they don't follow, you beat the hell out of them until they do it. I understand the white man now. Why he had to use the whip to discipline and civilize the savage African man who refuses to follow law and order, who wants to live in squalor, in third world conditions, who refuses to develop his father's land but wants to go overseas and brag about his success. Doesn't work like that.
And then that man will shift your side. Every tree that refuses to bear fruits will be cut down. It is a natural law. The worst human being on earth is a man that cannot utilize his resources. A man that cannot utilize his resources would always use his resources inevitably to inhibit societies. And like I always tell you people, the way societies work is that from the local, what is happening to a particular location can affect the globe. It will start by affecting a state, then from that state, it affects the country, from that country, it affects the continent, from the continent, it affects the globe. So any intelligent person from the part of a globe would understand that if you neglect or overlook this thing, it will affect you. It's a question of time. That's why Westerners did what they did. You don't understand because you've not had such experience. So shut the heck up. Now Ghanaians have had such experience in knowing how to fix their society. That is why they understood South Africans immediately. They understood South Africans immediately. They don't need to be explained to. Even when a South African came to my life to apologize to them, Ghanaians said, no, why are you apologizing? We understand what you mean because we know what it means to fix our society. So we understand why you people are doing what you're doing. If we were in your shoes, we would do the same. So my brother, that is why majority of Ghanaians cannot condemn what South Africans are doing. Because they understand what it means to fix a society. Like minds flock together. South Africans, Ghanaians, the same. Even if you look at their flags, you see it is almost same color. Observe their flag. I showed you people that picture. That picture I designed. Yeah. Where I was kneeling down in Ghanaian flag and upholding the South African. You see it's same color. Same mind. They cannot condemn what South Africans are doing because they understand what it means to fix a society. It is something Nigerians will not understand. When we Nigerians begin to fix our societies, that is when you people will realize that it is bladderdash on these things. People say Nigerians are the only people that are not segregated. I won't tell you, oh, who are you? Because Nigeria is a scattered society, so they have nothing to protect. When we start fixing our societies, we'll understand that we have everything to protect, and we'll see that we'll do worse than South Africans. Yes, but now you people don't understand what South Africans are doing because you people operate in inferior mentality. You don't know what it means to fix a society.
Right inside the mall in
See, I like the fact that Ace is the one who said it, that Nigerians cannot relate to where South Africans are. The day Nigerians decide that they want to develop their countries, they will understand South Africans and Ghanaians very well. Anytime you want to progress, you need to get rid of the weakest links. The weak links that are holding you down and stopping you from moving forward, you've got to get rid of them. So that's what South Africa is doing. It's purging itself of the weak links. The weak links in the country are the African migrants. It's not even the white Europeans. White Europeans bring value. They bring skills, right? They bring civilization. They're civilized. They bring order. Africans bring disorder. They bring chaos. They bring filth and dirtiness everywhere they go. It's a trend. Anywhere where there's a high concentration of African migrants living in that area, it's dirty, it stinks, it's disorderly, there's crime, there's rape, there's murder. These are patterns. You can be mad at me, but I'm showing you the patterns. Everybody identifies these patterns. Those areas where African migrants live are not safe. African men have low impulse control, so they act on instinct. They do terrible things to people based on their instinct. If they're horny, they rape. If they're hungry, they kill, they rob, they steal. Those are animals. Those are not civilized people. So you can be mad about it if you want. But in South Africa, we are purging and cleansing ourselves of all the weak links. The only countries that are crying for Pan-Africanism are those that have failed. Their second chance at living in a prosperous society is through Pan-Africanism because they can't fix their own problems at home. And quite frankly, you guys can take all the Jolofinas. They're the weak link in South Africa. We don't need Jolofinas in South Africa. They're slowing us down. Please take them to your countries and you can enjoy the South African genetics there and reproduce with them and make babies that will also have nyash so that you can stop coming to our country because African men, that's all they care about. They think with their dicks. No brain cells. Everything is just instinct.
in a McDonald's. That's the current situation. Ke batla e etsa jwalo ntate pela dijo mo o jwang teng ka mall. Right ka mall then be re na di mayor re na le batho ba sebetsa. It's bad.
Eh ntate Sekonye. Ga ba tebela batho ba bontso ka ntle ba di tax shop bana magachi. O bonangwe.
Mamela ko bola no sa tsebeng. No jana di kutlwanong ha o filo tindana. Re go bolela ntwe ke batlang o etseng. Rona ma South Africa ha ke tsebe na motho a ka nka eng a re pompe ka yona go re nyolle boko ba gona bo sebetse ka mogona paetseng ga ba tebela ka matswantle ke nnete re ba tsamaye ma re go bolela bona di shopo ke tsena ka moraka ke tsena di empty di kwetse matswantle a dumetse gore a tsamaya a re sia le naha ena ya rona. Naha ena ya rona batho ba rona ba rata ba go ntalela ka di-VSOP le di-Castle Light le di-Stout ba hlola ko etsa ntho e developang community. Bona di-shop ke tsona di kwetse di-shop ke tseo. Di kwetse tse ding di rekise ha eyo. Mare le a lwana le re matswantle a tsamaye. Ke nnete ba tsamaya le etsang a ba kete a tsamaya. Le a ema le
Very good point by Ntate Skonki. Arema Tswakantle. They are leaving these stalls now. The foreigners, they have left the stalls for South Africans. It's time for South Africans to rise up and take charge of their communities and these businesses. Rise up now. So it's good to also be critical. This is what I'm saying. To fix a nation, to fix South Africa is a process, because we also have to radicalize, galvanize our people to take the initiative, because a lot of people have lost hope. They don't even believe that South Africa is their own country anymore. So part of the process is also now getting people to understand that, guys, things have changed. We've gotten rid of these people. Now let's take over these sectors and run them ourselves.
shebella ba bang ba ithendareng ba lo ya ditjhelete ba reka di-VSOP ba reka di-Remy Martin ba ntella batho ka tsona. Molemo ke ngwa ntella ka jwala o hlola go developer community e wena o tsebe ka batho ba bangwe yona ha yo ntse ntse re etsa mona South Africa. Ha ke kgolo gona a santse re etsa tlametse o nke pompo ena ba bicycle o pompe batho ka ditsebeng hore kello bona e kgone ho function ka tsela e nepahetseng. Nna ke hloleile ha o batla mpolaya o tlo tla mpona thabong o tlo mpolaya ke pedo ke tu yango
Shapona ndesiskonyi.
Bear with me as I explain something. Sometimes I be wishing inside of myself that immigration itself would be completely outlawed all throughout the world, especially for Africans. And I know this sounds very contradictory considering the fact that I'm an immigrant myself and I'm also a huge beneficiary of immigration. I know, but please hear me out. The reason why I say this is because of human nature. Like I've mentioned so many times, according to the Bible, the heart of man is desperately wicked. Keywords: desperately wicked. The more uncomfortable, the more stressed a human being is, the more that desperate wickedness comes out to play. We human beings must understand our true nature as desperately wicked beings and understand that the only thing keeping us together is grace, as in this grace is not ours. It is borrowed. It's given to us from Christ. This knowledge should trigger humility. In the absence of humility, the only thing that we as human beings achieve is perpetuating our own pain to suffering. Like I mentioned so many times before, pain is a beautiful thing because pain is potential energy. When you recognize your pain and you do not deny it, you can transmute your pain into liberation. However, when you sit with your pain and you deny it, you perpetuate it into suffering, aka hell on earth. There is a shit ton of pain in this world, but especially in Africa, that we're not doing anything about because we do not recognize that this pain is potential energy and it's not entirely our fault. Slavery and colonization has left a massive dent in our psyche. We Africans have been intentionally and strategically conditioned to see pain as part of our lives to the point that we do nothing about them. Matter of fact, we comfortably reinforce and conform to the exact same fuck systems that keep us
I hate motherfuckers like this that think because they're using big English words that somehow makes what they're saying or their rationale intelligent. Bruh, Africans are not the only people that experience slavery. A lot of countries recovered after 20, 30 years. It doesn't take that long. It takes one generation to bounce back from centuries of slavery. Yes, I said it. Why must we be so special that with us, the effects of slavery are so profound that we don't have the IQ to bounce back? The truth of the matter is that Africans are stupid. They're imbeciles. They're morons, particularly African men. They cannot develop. They cannot build. They can't. They can't progress. They can't work together. They don't have the capabilities. They're not civilized enough to do it. Stop making excuses. You coming here quoting, even worse, you're talking about, oh, slavery, slavery, this, slavery, that, but you're quoting from the Bible that was brought in as a mechanism to enslave us. You fucking moron. You're quoting from the Bible. The same Bible that was used to quote unquote convert you and take you away from your indigenous culture. You are here quoting it, but at the same time condemning slavery. You're an idiot. You're contradicting yourself. You can't even hear what you're saying. We are not a special case. Many countries experienced slavery and recovered. Stop making the excuse that we can't bounce back because of slavery. The reason we can't bounce back is because we have low IQs. It's a statistical fact. Look it up. African men have low IQs. It's that simple. We are underdeveloped. That's why we can't progress. We can't build anything. We can't work together in a society to develop ourselves. That's the reality of it. African men are failures. There's nothing more to it. This is why African men always have to lead with their dicks or lead with some sort of athleticism or entertainment. We're minstrel shows. We're a joke. We're there to entertain people. Nothing more. Nobody takes us seriously. We can't even fix our own father's homeland. You want to immigrate before you've done anything significant at home, and you think people overseas will respect you. You think people in other African countries will respect you. We don't respect failures. Go back home and go fix your country and show us something first. Stop making excuses about slavery. Slavery is gone now. The reason there's still remnants of neocolonialism and all of this because your leaders are corrupt. African people they have the lowest morals. We pretend that we have such higher morals. We don't. We kill our own people. We slaughter our own people, rape our own women. We don't have these high moral standards. It's a fucking lie. Live in reality. Stop living in the ideology of what Africans are and live in the reality of what they're doing. They sell drugs to their own people. They prostitute their own people. Look at Nigerians with baby making factories. They sell human beings into slavery. These are African men that will do anything for money, anything to survive. They don't want to create their own financial systems that don't force them into such crazy desperation that they have to sell out their own people. They're fine with whatever the system they're given is, as long as they can make money and survive at the expense of everybody else, even people that look like them. So don't come here with this nonsense, man.
Perpetually broken. And in our desperation for survival, a lot of us migrate to countries that we deem...
Shut up. Stop being victims. You're a grown man. Figure it out in your home country with your own people. Why must Africans forever be perpetual victims? It's always the victimhood narrative. Oh, we suffered this, we suffered that, therefore it affected us psychologically in this way. That's why we can't do. No, you can't perform and you can't deliver because you are stupid.
The grass is greener on the other side. But when we get to those countries, a shit ton of us lack humility to understand why those countries appear greener to begin with. Take South Africa, for example, compared to Nigeria. These two countries are part of the same continent, yet South Africa has seemed to have paid a price to make their grass appear greener. It might not necessarily be real green or healthy green, but it at least appears green enough compared to Nigeria for a lot of Nigerians to find attractive enough to want to go to South Africa. Ask yourself, what price have they paid and continue to pay for their grass to appear greener compared to ours? When a lot of us Africans migrate to some of these countries, whether it's South Africa or the US or the UK, a lot of us do not understand that oftentimes there's very dark history, dark and painful history that had to occur before any glimpse of green appeared. And a lot of us still do not understand that that glimpse of green, whether it's in America or in South Africa, is actually still very mediocre compared to the green every single one of us could exude if we all put in the same fucking audacity. But instead, a lot of these African immigrants, when we get to these host countries, in our desperation and wickedness and arrogance, we don't help them fight the systems to make things better. Yes, there's a lot of hardworking Africans who are quietly making their money, but that is not good enough. I don't care how affluent your host country is, the best that they got is mediocre compared to what could be, meaning that the citizens of your host country are in pain. And just because you come from a hotter pain and when you get to their country, you now want to relax for what? I don't know about ya, but I have never heard of a Nigerian or a group of Nigerians who are helping speak up about the injustice in South Africa. Whether it's in the inequality with white people in South Africa owning over 70% of land and property. And white people in South Africa are the minority, by the way, with their population about 7%. 7% of white people in South Africa own over 70 to 80% of land in South Africa. Apart from journalists like Adela Fayehon, I have never seen a Nigerian speak up against that. I have never seen a Nigerian or a group of Nigerians speak up against the injustice in America, including systemic racism and inequality against Black Americans, intentionally highlighting their historical struggles from a non-white supremacist perspective. I have never seen that. A lot of us take, abuse, and get comfortable without giving back, without any deep acknowledgement and respect for the history of the host country itself. Now imagine if every single African, instead of us packing our bags and running desperately to other countries that we deem affluent because we think their grass is greener on the other side, imagine if we learn from them and put in the exact same audacity and work in our countries to fix our own shit, as opposed to running to other countries and straining their already weak and strained systems. Imagine the level of green every single one of our grasses will exude. But instead,
Bro. African men are fully aware of the principles you're describing. They just don't have the capacity to carry these types of things out because they have low IQs. Understand me. Everything you're saying is not like African men don't understand that they should be in South Africa helping us to get back our land. Instead, they will weaponize the fact that we still don't have our land, even though we were already at the negotiation table with the white elites to get our land back constitutionally, lawfully. We fought wars with these people already. We were at the negotiation table before you fucking Africans influxed into our country in the millions and disrupted that process by destabilizing our communities with your criminality and your illegality. Now we have to deal with you and postpone this thing of getting our land back. It's not like you Africans are coming into South Africa to help us attain our land. You guys do not want to see black South Africans become prosperous. You don't want to see it because you're jealous. You want to put yourselves in as a replacement of black South Africans and get our spoils before our time. That's what this is really about. These Africans are in South Africa to ethnically cleanse us, to replace us so that they can inherit what we fought for as black South Africans, what we died for as black South Africans. And they lie to themselves and they say that they fought apartheid. How did you fight apartheid? Did you have boots on the ground? You didn't fight apartheid. You stood in solidarity. You took a stance. You supported. You did not fight. To fight implies that you brought boots on the ground and your people actually died for the freedom that South Africans obtained. South Africans actually died. We were on the ground facing the barrel of the gun. And we will not let you thieves steal our inheritance because you failed with your own country and because you're too selfish to fight for your own freedoms in your own country. You will go home and fix your country. I promise you that. You will not live in South Africa. So all of this nonsense, yeah. I hear what you're saying. You're trying to speak sense into African men. African men are low IQ. Everything you're saying, yes, is correct. You're right. But you're speaking to African men who are useless. They can't build. They can't create. They can't do anything. They can't invent. They can't discover. They're useless. Low IQ that only think with their dicks, chasing after nyash all over the fucking world.
We idolize, idealize, and pedestalize the same group of people and their fuck systems that keep us in perpetual poverty in mind, body, and spirit, and finances while we fight our own brothers. How fucking sad. So yes, in spite of the fact that immigration is a very beautiful thing, because this is how we get to see each other and learn from each other, because at the end of the day, we're one. But immigration should never be done from a place of desperation, especially when this
Another low IQ take. We are not one just because we have similar skin tones. We are not brothers. This narrative needs to stop. You are on your own. Figure out your own shit on your own. Stop calling us your brothers. We are not your brothers. We are not one. Just because we live on the same mass of land does not mean we are one. Do you call your the people in your neighborhood, are those your family, your blood relatives? Are you guys related because you share a neighborhood? Can your neighbors just come to your house anytime they want to because you're brothers and sisters? Can they have access to your food, to your family members, to your wife because you are one? No, stop this. It's madness. You sound mentally deformed when you say things like we are one. Based on what? Similar skin tone. So are you also one with Indians? Are you one with anybody that has a brown skin tone? Are you like, you people are mentally deformed. You're not okay. There's no oneness here. You're on your own. Figure out your own shit in your own country and stop trying to associate with us. You're trying to share in our success by proxy, by skin color. It's mentally, it's so angering because there's no correlation. You are your own person with your own bloodline and your own family. There's no relation between us. None. Stop associating yourselves with us. We don't want to be associated with you. You guys are failures.
Causes you to not appreciate the history behind the greener grass that you perceive. And this is why sometimes I am so tempted to say that immigration should be outlawed so everybody will stay in their kitchen and put in the fucking work.
At this point, I believe Nigeria is a problem to the world and Africa as a whole. Yes, that's my final conclusion after seeing what is going on the social media or the internet, on the global stage. Nigeria is a problem to the world and Africa. Because at the moment, Ghana doesn't want us. South Africa is saying we should leave their country. Cameroon are saying we should leave their country. Dubai is pursuing us. America is chasing us. Everybody, nobody wants us in their country. So at this moment, it's that I reflected it inside. Because when everybody is pointing finger at you, It's time for sober reflection. You look at yourself. What is it that you're doing that is making everybody to complain about you? Yes, because sometimes somebody might be feeling that I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. But people are complaining about you. You look at yourself. Ask yourself critical question. What is it that you're doing that is not right? At this moment, no African country wants Nigeria in their place. Everybody wants us to go. So what is it that we are doing? This is what we need. The question we need to ask ourselves. What is it that we are doing that made others not to like us? That make others to start complaining about us? It is a critical question. And the earlier we realize this and sort it out, the better for us, because it is getting worse every day. It is getting worse every day. The most poorest countries in the world that doesn't even want us in their country. Please, if you like this post, please like and share this post, please. I want you to like and share this post so that it will get to others. And other countries like South Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, please, if you know that thing Nigerians are doing in your country that make you people despise them so much, please let me know in the comment section. And please do well to follow me on my YouTube page. I'm Mr. Apollo. I appreciate it so much. Please follow.
If you want to see how low IQ Nigerians are, just watch videos like this where this guy saying, what is it that we're doing wrong? Nigerians are making headlines globally for crime, human trafficking, drug trafficking, prostitution, kidnapping for ransom, organ harvesting, fraudulent documents, defrauding systems, romance scams. What do you need to see? When Nigerians ask such stupid questions like, what are we doing wrong? Why do you think your passport is the most banned in the world? What more do you need to see? What should people like? What must we explain further for you to understand? It's a stupid question and it's insincere. These people are intellectually dishonest. They come on you and they act confused as to what is it that their people are doing. You know very well what your people are doing. You know very well your reputation. You know very well when you're at the airport and they stop you and they search you and ask you questions. You know very well why they're doing that. So for you to act puzzled or confused as to why South Africans don't want you in their country and why Ghanaians don't want you in their country is insincere. And it actually shows your low IQ. I keep telling you, man, African men and low IQs, it's a problem.
Follow me on my YouTube page on Mr. Apollo and other social media pages, please. I do appreciate it. And do it to like and follow me if you like what I'm doing. I thank you.
During apartheid, not even one of those African countries came to fight with black people. Unalokho basithatha basihlalisa ezweni labo. Ukusisilwe izwe lesilwele izwe lethu, right?
And the abantu ababeku-exile, they were declared on the government.
Yes, they were like refugees. Babephila njengama-refugees. Babengahambi nje bevula ama-tuck shop nama-sponsor shop la. Belokhu African units. So nathi we've given them enough time ukuthi iy'nkinga zasezweni labo bayilwele baphindele move. But right now we're not getting that. We're getting Africans wanting to be documented in South Africa, which is not going to happen, not in this lifetime. Whether EFF says it or any other political party says they must be documented, I'm telling you now, it's never going to happen in this lifetime.
16 girls ezase South Africa omncinci kubo una 15 years bezi exposed ke human trafficking, zithengisiswa imizimba, befakwe nakwi drugs. Ze uhulumende wase South Africa uthule ngemiba enjena le yenza abantu base South Africa banikwa amagama kuthiwa ba xenophobia. Akakho umuntu olala avuke ngomso secapukela igweja. There is no such. But the root cause of the problem is xenophobia. Abafuna udilishana nayo. That is why abantu base South Africa ngoku sebengasava nobaba kuthiwa ba xenophobia, because why into ezinje uhulumende issue ne statement kwi commissions ase Nigeria ngalento and sizele sikhulisa abantwana asizukwazi guys uthula wonke umzalo wase South Africa le into iyamchaphazela because ngomso nongamsi guarantee uba owakho umntana akazi uchaphazeleka yilento awuyazi. In Nigeria nithetha nawe ngoku zikwi High Commission yase South Africa ziyototoyela safety against xenophobia le ikhozwe ngabo ngizinto abazenzayo drugs ebantwaneni bethu base South Africa.
If you're to be the president of Nigeria for 3 hours, what's going to be the first thing you're going to do?
Someone like me, I'll say Nigeria.
And he's not joking. You want to know how low IQ Nigerian men are? Listen to this. They say, we're giving you a chance to be the president. You can change laws. You can do anything to help the country. What's the first thing you'll do? He doesn't think of what he can do for the collective to help them. The first thing he thinks is what he can gain. So he says he will sell the country.
Jesus. I'll sell the country.
You said the country.
Wallahi. I could just sell them.
Nigerians like to complain about the leadership in Nigeria. They say, oh, our problem is our government. Our problem is our leadership. No, you guys are a reflection of your government. Your government is exactly who you are. They've got the exact same morals as you. This man is here saying he will sell the country. That's exactly what your government is doing. That's why your government does not care about your lives, because you yourselves don't care about the lives of Nigerians.
Are you
serious right now, bro?
I thought you were supposed to say you would change the economy of fuel, like
change.
To help Nigerians.
See, you cannot change this Nigeria, this country. You can never. Even if I change the fuel. Okay, you say 3 days, Abi.
Yes.
Okay, after 3 days,
3 hours.
Okay, after 3 hours, if the next person come back, you know whether you go increase them, you go come worse.
This is Nigerian men for you. They have no hope or faith in their own country. They say you can't change Nigeria. It's not true. They're lazy and they're imbeciles. If you put South Africans in Nigeria, we would develop that country in no time. If you put white people in Nigeria, they would develop Nigeria in no time. But because Nigerian men are intellectually lazy, they don't want to use their brains to think of solutions that benefit the collective. They only think of ways to benefit themselves. They're lazy and they're selfish. So you hear this guy saying he would sell his own country. He would sell out his own people. And they did that with the slave trade, by the way. They really think like this. They sold their own people into slavery for personal gain. That's what they do. That is who they are. That's why we don't want them in our countries. We don't need people with mentalities like this. They're mentally deformed. It's not normal to think like this, particularly when you're a man. A man is a builder, is a creator. You're supposed to develop your nation as a man, not say, oh, there's no hope. It's not that there's no hope. Put any other man from a different culture in that same situation and they would develop Nigeria. The problem is your IQ and your selfishness and bad morals.
So the best thing now to say
sell them, carry the money. Everybody find your way.
Fear, I pour you spit. I pour spit for your face.
Everybody find your way. What of the less privileged? Like
everybody find your way. Even me, as I deal with you, like this country don't fire me. So if I'm being privileged to rule Nigeria for like 2 hours, say you want me, I go sell everything.
Okay, if you're given like the opportunity to like make and give order or change 3 things about Nigeria, what would you change?
And first, I will change the fuel. This fuel matter, you cut my every day I buy fuel. Yeah?
What do they use fuel? Do you get car, you get gen?
I get car, I get gen. Every day I buy fuel. So you see.
Okay, so you know change fuel. Waiting again.
Change fuel to policemen like this country.
Who won't come guide our country?
Police, they do too much. They know they see us with all this our small GLA. May they allow us pass. I fucking hate police, I swear.
You hate police? Well, they say police is our friend now.
Not my own friend. Then number 3. What would I do again? So what would I? And one of the number 3 is to just sell the country.
Again, this guy no get conscious, so
yeah, they want me.
You just want to sell the country.
At the sweat,
we say for the hot, God I beg.
I want to sell and carry the money.
Jackpa, I beg if you sell me, you will carry me along.
No, I get like this sexy. If I sell I will carry you. No worry.
Okay, so guys, let me know in the comment section if you are to be the president of Nigeria for 3 good hours. What's going to be that first thing you will do?
Sell the country. Sell.
If you're South African, I need you to listen to me very clearly. I'm going to repeat a video I made shortly because it seemed a lot of people never understood me, whereas a number of people understood me. So if you're a South African, if you see a video, if you really never understood that, you can ask question or you go to the comment section and look at someone that really understood it. Now, I made a video in stating that, let me put it in a way you would understand it. I made a video in stating that if South Africans stop, understand this thing, I'm taking it little by little. If South Africans stop this, their holy movement, of expelling Nigerians from South Africa, posterity will judge them. The universe will go against them. What I mean, therefore, is that what South Africans are doing is the right thing, and they have aligned with the forces of nature, the law of nature, in doing what they are doing, which is in expelling Nigeria. What I mean again is that it is the will of God that South Africans are doing what they are doing. What I mean again is that even if South Africans don't want to do these things, they cannot stop doing what they are doing, because this thing is moved by the will of God. And how do I explain this? Because this is South Africans being used by the forces of nature to tell Nigerians, go back home and become responsible. I use the biblical injunction, I use the biblical reference from a historical point of view, a historical perspective, to teach these things. In separating a captive from a slave, I told you people that a captive is someone that was taken from his home forcefully to another person's home. And such a person cannot be alleged of being irresponsible as to running away from fixing his home. As why even nature would allow such a person to be elevated in his new home or the home of the person that captured him. I use the reference of Black Americans or African Americans. Let me put it, not African Americans. Actually, African Americans are immigrants. Black Americans are different. Black Americans were people that were captured as slaves. They were captured as slaves from Africa, and they went to the Western world. It was just inevitable that they would become what they are right now, who are thriving nations, which is a thriving society. That is why Black Americans would have no option but to thrive. That is why they are integrated and one with Americans. It means that as much as America belongs to white Americans, America also belongs equally to Black Americans. But America does not belong to African Americans. It does not belong to immigrants. I also, like I stated, I used a clear reference of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel and a lot of Israel boys who were captured all the way from Israel to Babylon. And because it is not their will, they were captured. The forces of nature abode by them. The forces of nature stood with them, and they were able to be elevated. They found favor with the king, such that the king favored them much more than the locals. I also used an example of Joseph, who was sold by his brothers out of, not like forcefully. He was sold by his brothers, not by his own will. And that is why inevitably Joseph was elevated, and he tried to the point that he became a governor, second to the Pharaoh. Why? Because Joseph cannot be alleged of being a slave. He's just alleged of being a captive. So I also demonstrated or defined who a slave is. And I said a slave is that person that left the responsibilities of fixing his home and relocated to another man's home. That same person is a slave, and that person would always meet hostility in that home that he went to. I used the biblical reference of Jacob and his children moving to Egypt when they encountered a famine. They encountered a famine in Israel, and instead of staying to face their challenges, they relocated to Egypt where there was bounty. And at the end of it all, they suffered for more than 400 years. Do you see the difference? And that is why Nigerians inevitably will suffer in the hands of South Africans. And South Africans are even doing the will of God, the bidding of God, because in the days of Israel, God allowed them to suffer for more than 400 years, such that they would desire to go home. But when the Pharaoh decided that these people will not go home, the Lord God punished Pharaoh and the children of Israelites. But South Africans are doing something different. They are not holding back Nigerians. They are actually helping Nigerians, based on how God is moving South Africans to tell South Africans to tell Nigerians go home. So it's not a question of Nigerians coming to South Africans and telling them, let us go home. South Africans are the ones helping God. Through God, God is using South Africans to tell you people, go home. Do you see the difference? That is why South Africans cannot be punished like Pharaoh.
ANC presidents have been meddling to protect apartheid murderers, criminals, and deny justice to the victims of those crimes, all in order to protect the African National Congress. That's the allegation right now, after a particularly extraordinary weekend and what President Ramaphosa's presidency office did this weekend. This should be the biggest scandal in the country, the biggest news story, the biggest headline, because if this is true, what a damning indictment. If this is true, on the Liberation Party choosing to protect their former enemies and deny justice to victims, freedom fighters who in many cases, like in the Craddock 4 that I'm going to talk about now, paid the ultimate price, lost their lives in the battle for freedom. So I'm not going to tell you everything you need to know. Strap in. This is genuinely so.
Now, if you can put 2 and 2 together, you should understand that, like I've told you in previous videos, that the transition from the apartheid government into the ANC was planned a long time ago. It was planned before 1994. In the 80s already, meetings were being had with Margaret Thatcher, talking to Oppenheimer, talking to Rupert about the transition. Excuse me. So it's no surprise. Guys, ANC has been labeled this liberation movement. They are far from that. That is not what they are. They're anything but a liberation movement. They've come to reinforce apartheid upon South Africans. That has been their role. So of course they would protect their enemies of apartheid. Of course they would, because they're all on the same team. They all respond to the same commanders. They all got the same funders. They've all got the same global elite bosses who tell them what to do.
Important. So, after the Truth and Reconciliation happened, the TRC decided over 300 cases where they would not grant amnesty to the perpetrators of crimes during apartheid, human rights abusers, murderers, torturers, and the rest. And the TRC mandated the National Prosecuting Authority to pursue all those cases, either through investigations or, if investigations had already been done and the information was already available, through court cases, including against the murderers, the assassins, the hit squad that the apartheid state used to kill the Craddock Four freedom fighters, struggle heroes in the mid-1980s in the Eastern Cape. That was like 2 decades ago when the TRC told the NPA to do that. Since then, in many of those cases, no investigations have been done, no criminal prosecutions have been laid, and the criminals have been allowed to live comfortable, peaceful lives scot-free. Other cases took an unjustifiably long time to happen. How could this be? The NPA under an ANC government with an ANC president, where the ANC president chooses the head of the NPA and the justice minister and forms the Justice Department. How could this possibly happen? Well, according to people in the NPA in the 2000s, President Thabo Mbeki and his deployees actively interfered politically to stop these investigations and court cases, even against the murderers of the Craddock Four. And Mbeki denies this, but the people who made this allegation against him said this in an affidavit, a legally recordable, recognizable claim that can be tested and has serious consequences if you're lying. You can go to jail for it. And Mbeki has denied that he politically interfered, but never in a legally recognized document that you can be held accountable for if you lied. Then, during the Zuma years, most of these cases didn't progress. The NPA had no interest. The docket about the Craddock Four disappeared. It went missing in the NPA's head offices. And now Ramaphosa, his administration, refused to take up these cases until they lost a court case by complaining families, forcing them to do so. Why would that be the case? And that brings us to now, where the Commission of Inquiry has been going on for a good 6 months. And then on Friday, Ramaphosa's presidency, illegally and unconstitutionally, according to the Commission of Inquiry, tried to force Justice Sisi Kampepe, former Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court in South Africa, the highest court in the land, to step aside and recuse herself from that commission, claiming that she was compromised because she used to be involved in working for the NPA and in the TRC, even though they knew full well when they appointed her that she had this history. And it sure seems to the families of people who are trying to get justice for their relatives that this was a strategic move to thwart the inquiry by another ANC president.
How can you come into a foreign country? We're trying to coexist with you, but you tell citizens not to open shops. These people, they run away from their countries of origin, but they come here to South Africa and they claim to have territories. That needs to be looked up on.
And tell Alex, it's us again. If I found him here,
we as the citizens and patriots of this country, we will not stand for that. We will make sure that we protect our own people, and we'll make sure that none of these people are operating in the informal market as per our constitution and our informal traders Bible.
We had a challenge where community members were defending them.
so tlhakatlhakano di jive maphambuka marampa diflopo ke dilo tse ba di kry-ileng ka marakampa ya Kempton Park. So mahata ba kry-ile information ba kry-ile lenyena ba kry-ile file ore ke se yona le bafana ba mnyana ba di jalo rice ba traffica banyana ba 16. The youngest o na le 15 years ba tshwere majita ma 4. So to mesan so tlhakatlhakano di jive lubricant ke ntho iralang ka marampa ya Kempton Park. So bafana ba le ba jollof rice ba di khona tse 7 mo tlhogong ba kry-ile hore ba traffica banyana ba 16 ene youngest o na le 15. So ba jumpile ba re ba bang ba re se ba bethile ka chaya for 2 le vovo ba ba botsa gore se hona le spane e tla mo thesho se bona ba ya intention ya re ba ile kra spane bafana ba la shiba le ke bona ba sa ba shapa ka di drugs. So some of them ba ba drugile ka heroin a shiba le ke bona da so ba sa le go playing one a ba itse to mesana. So mahata ba kry information ore se be bafana ba le ba jalofo bafana ba le ba ka marakampa ya Lagos ba rile tlhakatlhakano flopo marampa. So shifa o manyora ba sa tsena le mahata ba tsena ka marankwila ba kra ho rona le Nigerian a maifo ka mara 3 room bedroom shiba le ke bona ba sa tsena ka daso ba sa searcha di ele pleke bana ba le go ntle balla. So ke tlhakatlhakano di jive maphambuka bana ba banyana ba
South Africa is under attack not by immigrants but by the global system. Look, I do not condone violence against foreigners, but something has to be spoken about. Every time we try to fix what was broken, land reform, economic transformation, controlling our borders, the world screams racism, genocide, or white genocide, or xenophobia. They have weaponized words to keep South Africans weak, and they have fallen for it. Let me tell you about the word xenophobia.
This is my core argument. It's the reason I have a YouTube channel. The reason I'm streaming. That South Africa's problems are bigger than just local government. There's a global agenda to try and stop us from being sovereign and making independent decisions that benefit our people. Anything we do, the world screams, oh, stop them, stop this, stop that. The entire world has meddled in our affairs for a very long time. We're basically not a sovereign nation because anything we try to do, we get human rights and NGOs and all types of organizations coming against us to lobby to try and stop us from doing what we want to do that's best for our people. And just to comment on the video that you just watched prior to this gentleman over here, he was talking about 4 Nigerians that were trafficking young girls, the youngest of them being 16. And one of the ways they do it is that they kidnap these girls and then they force them to take heroin to turn them into drug addicts so that they can basically pimp them. Isn't that xenophobia? Like, I'm so confused. What is xenophobia exactly? Is that not hating your fellow black brother or sister because you're forcing them into drugs and prostitution by force? Black sister. Isn't that xenophobia? So why doesn't it get condemned by Nigerians? They say, oh, it's just crime. Let your law enforcement deal with it. But it's deeper than just letting law enforcement. Why are black Nigerians doing this to black South Africans? Is that not xenophobia? Isn't that the very thing that they hate? Imagine South Africans going to Nigeria to go drug innocent young Nigerian girls. They would be crying and screaming xenophobia. So this word has been weaponized against us in particular by the global elites. They fear us governing ourselves and having control of our own country.
It comes from Greek, fear of foreigners. But in South Africa, it's been twisted into a weapon. Whenever South Africans try to enforce their immigration laws, whenever they demand accountability from foreign nationals who commit crimes, the illegal immigrants who commit crimes, from the past atrocities committed by imperialist forces and apartheid regimes, they are labeled as xenophobic, as people who cannot let go of the past. But here's the truth. South Africa hosts over 4 million immigrants. 4 million immigrants, the most in Africa. We have been the most welcoming country on the continent, including the ones who existed during apartheid. I'm talking about the white people. When I'm talking about illegal immigrants, I'm referring to the ones who are white as well. The ones from Ukraine. We have been the most welcoming country on the continent. I repeat that. But when our hospitality is abused, when we complain, we are shamed. Other Africans have the audacity to call South Africans uneducated and illiterate, yet educated governments constantly twerk for global entities. Look at Nigeria. With all that oil, 60% still live in poverty. Nigerians hold more doctoral degrees in the US than any other immigrant group, but their own country can't feed its people because their leaders sold the nation's wealth. But they have the audacity to tell South Africans that they do not own land and white people still own the wealth. South Africans know that. They are and still fighting against that. So who's the problem, really? Pan-Africanism used to mean unity against colonialism, against imperialism. Today, it's been hijacked. Global NGOs, the UN, foreign powers have infiltrated this ideology. Now, Pan-Africanism is used to guilt trip South Africans into accepting crime, into opening borders without control, into sacrificing our safety for the sake of African unity. Let me tell you something. South African soldiers died in Congo fighting, but that was not given a headline. Look, I am all about uniting with Africans, but we need to fix our home first before we integrate one into one country. Right, as Africa. Africans can march against xenophobia in South Africa, but where are the marches against their own corrupt governments? Where are the protests against imperialist forces stealing resources in Congo? Where is the outrage over Sudan's blood shed? It's silence because the same NGOs funding anti-xenophobia campaigns are funded by the same powers that control those resources. Where is the African Union? Remember when the Expropriation Act was signed, Trump offers Afrikaners an asylum. Elon Musk screamed white genocide. Remember when South Africa demanded 30% of local ownership from Starlink? Elon called it racist or racial laws. The US threatened to terminate the AGOA partnership between South Africa and the US or whatever. But here's what they don't tell you. The Expropriation Act simply allows expropriation for public purpose. Land held for speculation. Abandoned property, and it hasn't been used once yet. The 30% rule has an alternative. The Equity Equivalent Investment Program, IBM, Samsung, JP Morgan have all used it successfully. Starlink refused to negotiate. So ask yourself, guys, why is a man worth over 300 billion fighting so hard not to invest in the country he was born? The global system does not want a strong South Africa. They don't want a strong Africa as well. A united, economically independent Africa cannot be controlled. A South Africa that enforces its borders, in fact, every country that enforces its laws, transforms its economies and stands up to imperialism, that is a threat. So they weaponize xenophobia and Pan-Africanism. They amplify white genocide lies. They sanction any country that tries to escape. Gaddafi tried to unite Africa with a gold-backed currency. But with that said, he also wanted people to abide by the law of Libya. But he was assassinated. Lumumba tried to nationalize Congo's resources. Then he was murdered. Traore tries to lead Burkina Faso out of imperialism. Western media tries to paint him as a dictator. They are not protecting anyone. They are protecting their ability to extract. So let me tell you something uncomfortable. African countries need to fix their homes first before pushing Pan-Africanism to South Africa. Nigeria, 60% poverty, 33% inflation, yet they call South Africans uneducated. Ghana, guys, signed a European Union security pact that puts the sovereignty of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger at risk. And Africans had no issue with that. You understand me? You cannot preach African unity while your own government steals from you, while you stay silent on imperialism in Congo and Burkina Faso, while you attack the one country that has the resources and has the will to actually stand to the West. That includes South Africa. We need to fix our own issues too. Corruption, crime, service delivery, real problems. But don't let the world convince you that protecting your country is a crime. The world does not fear a poor South Africa. It fears a strong one. A South Africa that controls its borders, transforms its economy, and stands united. Stop apologizing for wanting better. Stop letting them guilt you into accepting less. Build your nation. Protect your people. The rest is just noise. And that is the truth, guys. South Africa is fighting against crime, not against foreign nationals. We need to stop simplifying these ideas. Because every African country has its problems. And its citizens need to stay there and fight. You understand me? I hope you heard me. I'll wait.
Firstly, thank goodness he was found. But secondly, why is it when a South African man who tries to enter the economy that he rightfully should be a part of, he gets kidnapped for 30 days? 30! And then there are people who tell us, no, you must stop being Afrophobic or xenophobic or whatnot. He had pressure from outside sources to sell his business. Bruh! South Africans are not mad enough. Again, I'm happy he is home. But this age of South Africans being gaslit in their own country, it needs to end yesterday. If it wasn't for the demonstrations and all that was going on, do you think he would have been found? I don't think so.
It's quite something to watch how today every foreign voice suddenly wants to remind South Africans how much they did for us during apartheid, throwing around the billions of dollars, invoking Nelson Mandela's name, and expecting gratitude on demand. Some go as far as using it to insult and emotionally blackmail us, as if our freedom story can be reduced to a single transaction. Of course, there was international support, but the reality of exile was not a glamorous tale of generosity and comfort. It was a life of sacrifice, discipline, and deep uncertainty. After the banning of liberation movements in 1960, many leaders were forced into exile. Zambia became a critical base, hosting the ANC and its headquarters in Lusaka. But what did that actually mean? It meant refugee camps with limited resources. It meant living under strict rules with no freedom to move as you please. You needed a permit just to step outside the camp. Life was controlled because the mission was serious. It meant years, even decades away from home. Families were torn apart. There was constant fear of infiltration. Some of the exiles were trained for war. Others were sent across the world for education, all carrying the burden of a country they couldn't see but refused to abandon. Exile wasn't an opportunity. It was a necessity. And when the time came, all South Africans returned home. Not because conditions were perfect or because there were guarantees, but because the struggle was always about home. That's why we must be honest in how we tell this history. Zambia, Botswana, Lesotho, Mozambique, Swaziland played a crucial and courageous role, and they paid a real price for it, both militarily and economically, because their solidarity mattered. Nigeria, Ghana, and Zimbabwe were not on the list of countries that risked everything, including their own safety and welfare, by accommodating South Africans. But today they speak the loudest, claiming history that never transpired. Our liberation was never charity. It was built on resilience, sacrifice, and determination of South Africans themselves. Yes, we had support, but the truth should never be distorted, exaggerated, and weaponized against us. Fact is, we fully complied. We acquired proper documentation to be in those countries. Not even a single one of our exiles or refugees ran a business, owned a property, blended into local communities. None of them committed a crime. None of them trafficked or dealt drugs. None of them trafficked women and forced them into prostitution. We didn't invade cities and suburbs. We didn't hijack buildings. We didn't destroy power infrastructures by stealing copper wires. We didn't kill locals. We didn't create criminal syndicates that terrorized local business owners. We simply respected host nations' laws. We obeyed their immigration policies. We respected their citizens and never provoked them, even when some of them told us we were not wanted in their countries.
Well, cry less.
Yeah, nah, that's the history that foreigners don't want to tell you about. Everybody wants to claim that they were the heroes that ended apartheid, but they want to tell you how our people were being treated in exile, being burnt with acid, in Nigeria, right? Our people were told that they're not welcome in the communities that they were living in, even though they were refugees. Africans don't want to talk about that. They want to make it seem as if they've got the perfect record and that they fought apartheid and that they brought it to an end. But these same morons that are saying these things can't fight their own governments today. What does that tell you?
You know, we'll cry less as well, but just leave us alone. We've got some real serious business to fix. You know, you're always telling us, oh, the whites own the land, whatever. So we got to deal with those people. You are in the way. We need to deal with what we fought for. We never got a chance to fight for it, because as soon as the gates were opened, everyone just flooded in and offered their cheap labor. And now you come in for a job that is going to be like 35,000 rands a month. A Zimbabwean will do that job for 12,000 rands a month. And then at the same time, turn around and tell us that we are lazy. We are not lazy. We know our worth. We know what we're worth. No white person is going to give me like 12,000 rands a month for a job that is worth 35,000. Never. That will never happen. And they know it. And that's why they don't mind you being in this country. And I hear all these rumors about, oh, white people are funding this. Why would they fund illegal immigration that works for them? You are cheap labor. They are making money off of you. And they don't even have to live with you. They go off into their estates, their guarded estates. They live there peacefully. You guys are left with us wrecking infrastructure, demanding free healthcare. Who do you think is paying for the free healthcare? You guys think we have a bottomless pit of money that we can just, like everyone comes here, gets pregnant, and then they get free healthcare. Who do you think? Seriously, do people even think where this money comes from? This money comes from us. Some of us get taxed to death. And I hate it so much. Every time I see a pregnant Zimbabwean, I just feel like losing my mind. Because I know she's happily here because she knows she's going to go and plead for free healthcare. Our kids don't have spaces in schools because foreigners are there. Illegal, some of them, demanding spaces for their kids. People ask questions like, oh, so where are they getting documents for this and that? Every now and then there's like documents found that are illegal or maybe paid for. We have a corrupt government. That's what we need to fight for as well. We need to fight this government. Guys, give us a chance. Just go to Zimbabwe, go to Nigeria, go wherever it is. Just go and fix your places.
Okay, so let me ask you, based on everything that you are saying, and you hear people say boycott South Africa, and when you hear other Africans also saying that South Africans should leave their country, what would be the reaction? How would you guys feel?
If South Africans left their countries.
And they said they should also leave their countries to South Africa, what would be your reaction?
Okay, every time I see somebody say that, I always look at their account and they're not even in their country. They're in the US or the UK.
No.
This would be sacrifices that will have to be made. I'm saying this, but I know that it won't happen. But it would be ideal if people would just boycott us so that they don't have anything to complain about.
So you mean the boycotting that you are hearing is not doing anything to you guys? It's either helping you guys instead.
Which
is
boycotting?
Now, like when people are saying boycott South Africa, boycott their businesses in other African
I want
countries.
to, because people don't even know when they're talking about the businesses. Somebody said, MTN. Listen, or ShopRite. Like a guy called Christo Visa owns ShopRite. It's no skin off my back. You can boycott ShopRite all you want. MTN is a capitalist entity. It is not owned by the government. Boycott them. We don't care. As long as you leave, just go.
Okay. All right. You guys heard it. They are saying go ahead and boycott and then send their people Back to South Africa. So you heard it from
I actually agree with what she said.
I don't think Ghana government would allow any boycotts of that.
But what mobile network do Ghana have?
Exactly.
That's
What
the thing.
competitor-
I feel like if
Hold on. You know, some of you are talking with emotions.
Yes.
You understand?
And
You had
these
Tigo,
companies-
you didn't sustain Tigo. Down. No internet to talk to your people back home.
so, all the billionaires and whatever what are they doing in Ghana?
That's a question to ask. They are opening
That's a question
churches.
to ask yourself.
They
Instead
are
of
opening
I don't know.
churches in you see, there's
If
a lot
South
of South
Africa wasn't
Africa
your plight-
businesses. There's a lot of South Africa businesses in Ghana, but the businesses they have in South Africa are all churches, no company.
Imagine they in
Now
church
you're
praying
asking the
and
right
people are
questions,
making
guys.
business.
You are saying imagined.
No, I feel like if they could boycott, which I really agree with Goddess on that, then the companies, the South African companies too, they could sell it out, or other companies could buy it out, and
It's not by force to sell.
I mean, yeah, it's not by force to sell your company if you're not ready to sell. That I agree. But then also I'm saying they could buy it out. But I'm trying to, now I figured out, like, what do we have those
failed.
billionaires for?
We have failed as a country. We gained independence first. Like I heard you say it. I'm not even proud of that. What do we have to show? Everything that was done
we
for us
do
in
is-
Kwame Nkrumah has been dilapidated, has been left. Like
Yes.
even our Ghana
Yes,
Airways
you could
is
buy
now
it out
a
by,
restaurant.
you know, I
Guys,
don't know, whatever contract they have,
Hold on, mommy.
canceling it, because at the end of the day, it's our land.
Mommy, your Ghana Airways is not now a restaurant. Okay?
Wait, Ghana Airways, I don't think it's about miracle.
Your Ghana Airways is a restaurant. It can't
All we do is like
Oh, I love Temesco. He's a Ghanaian that's very, very reasonable and rational. And he can introspect enough to say that as Ghanaians, we got our independence first and we have failed. See, that mentality is what's going to help Ghana to overcome whatever challenges that they have, because they're able to reflect and introspect. Nigerians don't have this capacity. Ghanaians are highly intelligent people. They can recover if they can just focus their mindset on being in Ghana and addressing their issues. It's highly possible for them to do what they need to do to get their country in order, unlike the other African countries. So Temesco is right. Listen, I mean, he's saying you turned your airways into a restaurant. He's been critical of Ghanaians so that the men are provoked into action, into doing the right thing for their people. Because South Africa is like the lady said, Crystal Visa owns ShopRite. We don't care about ShopRite. These are private entities. These are not government organizations. MTN and all these different things are not government entities. They're private companies. So whether you shut that down or not does not affect the South African economy at all. It affects the pockets of white monopoly capital. That's it. We keep daring these African countries, please shut these companies down. They can't do it because they're dependent on them. The same colonial white master that they say built our country has come and built their countries as well. They forget. And without those white companies, their countries are in the Stone Age. They know it.
exports, consumer stew and
It
food.
can fly. So let's put this energy on our leadership. Forget about other African countries. I'm not going to put my energy on South Africa. I'm going to put the energy
Does
on.
Ghana Airways still operate though?
It doesn't. It's a restaurant. That's what I'm telling you.
I thought it was mostly like in London.
No.
What is going on with the migrant crisis here?
We're being flooded, we're being invaded, and we're being replaced in astronomical numbers, so quick, so fast. What people don't realise is how quickly it's happening. And I grew up, and it's not just that with the borders open, but then the migrants coming in, they're having 5-6 children on average. We're having 1.3. I looked at the demographical change of Manchester, and the Muslim community went from 25,000 to 50,000 over 10 years. The next 10 years, it went from 50,000 to 100,000, yeah? Okay, every 10 years it was doubling, yeah? then 100,000 becomes 200,000. Yeah, so we're only 10 years away because only 500,000 population. Yeah, the demographical change and then the hostility shown to non-Muslims. So then all the non-Muslims start moving. They call it white flight. That's what it's called in England when all the whites leave. Yeah, but they leave because their daughters are getting attacked. They're getting groomed. It's not safe to walk the streets anymore. And all the major cities now are coming under control. The drugs are under control. The street level, the prisons, all under control of Islam and Islamic jihadist gangs. All of them. So it's not like it, all of them. Every major city now, the criminals and gangsters that control it are the Muslim the Muslim extremists and the Muslim gangs, and whoever controls the streets controls the town. Yeah? And that's what we're seeing. And the inability by the police.
So clearly, this immigration crisis is a controlled, orchestrated syndicate. When you hear government saying things like, we're not, the South African government in particular will say, we're not the only country struggling with the challenge of immigration. No, it's because this is a globalist created crisis. So it doesn't bring us comfort to say we're not the only country dealing with it. In fact, you're undermining us. You're basically saying, if first world countries are dealing with this, who do we think we are to not deal with it? Very, very insulting to talk to us like that. And it shows Ramaphosa's hand that he's always repeating this. It shows their hand that whenever they say, other countries are dealing with, yes, because this is a globally created crisis. It's a global criminal syndicate that is created, orchestrated to replace us.
To deal with any of these problems or the government, they're all scared. They're paralysed with fear. They're paralysed to tackle the rape of children. They're paralysed to tackle any of the criminality that comes out of this community. That's how powerful political correctness is. That we know that in the UK they allowed a whole generation of our daughters to be raped and kidnapped. It sounds unbelievable. Some of the things I say sound unbelievable. But entire police forces, 65 different police forces, let young girls get raped and the reason they didn't prosecute or arrest the men because they were fearful of being branded racist.
Y'all telling me right now the police in the UK is scared to enforce the law because of the number of immigrants that they could control the streets and the prison? And y'all heard the numbers. He said they double every 10 years. But within that process, that 10-year process, the numbers also increase because you have more people flooding the UK. Hell, they can't stop the people coming from France that's crossing the English Channel into the UK. They're not even stopping them. But the police are scared to enforce the law that the immigrants are controlling the jails and the streets. That is falling. And the white Brits give a whole new meaning, a different meaning to the term white flight. Because usually that means you leave the city to another city, or you move to another section of the city, but not to leave the entire state or the country. Whereas right here, you have from 2021 to 2024-ish, 300,000 plus white Brits have left the UK to never return. Damn, UK has fallen.
South Africa, my continent. South Africa, my home. I'm a musician, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a citizen of South Africa. Guys, go to this video might cause me bad blood. Guys, go to this video might cause me my enemies. Guys, go to the video is on if you know that wait, babatul. But never mbuga ngelinye. Oh well, it's better ukuthi ningizonde sibe sibelizwe lethu. Ma musician batuli. Ngicela nje ukukhuluma nabatuli kakhulukazi. Yabona this thing yob celebrity nalento le ye pride. Njengamanje sisebenza indaba yob artist. Njengamanje kumele sisukume silwele izwe lethu forget status ukuthi wena ubani. Ingane zethu sineyingane. Sikhulisa abantwana sinemndeni kuneyingane. Zizokhulela lezi ingane makuthi nina anilwele izwe leni. Zizokhulela lezi ingane mangabe nibuka la ku social media nihleli phansi nithi ya nabo phakela umthakathi nabo ngizwe nalibutho mina ngiwumuntu wesifazane nithi asiyeni khona. We need to stand up for South Africa. Enough is enough. They have taken a lot from South Africa. If it takes ukuthi nisibize ngokuthi xenophobic, it's okay. You guys akekho umuntu ongafika ashaye umthetho eNigeria. You are owning stands, you are owning properties, you are buying houses, you are buying cars. Who's driving a Porsche? A hairdresser, a barber. Who is owning a 5-point-something million property in his name? But we barber, we hairdresser. Who does that? Who does that? What type of business are they doing? What type of business are they doing? Enough is enough. Cecil right, they have taken from us too much. Too much. We love our African countries. We love our African brothers. Imagine me in Nigeria, imagine me in Ghana, in Zimbabwe, selling drugs, destroying a country and then come back eating xenophobic when you're fighting for your country. Enough is enough. Batuli, Matigo, entertainers, stand up. I know good in Lambil and Fita, Naming Lambil and Lambeswin. If ever we have to go hungry, if ever we have to stay hungry, fighting for our country, so be it. Enough is enough. Enough is. I mean, I've got people who are having an ID with South African names and surnames, buying properties, buying cars. I'm not jealousy. It just pains me how they're making that money. If igazi, so be it for our country. Isizwe sobabamkhulu lesi. Isizwe sokhokho lesi. Isizwe sikaphunga nomageba, stand up. Stand up. South Africans, stand up. Enough is enough. So I'm saying this to you all. This is not xenophobic. This is us fighting for our country that has been used, that has been damaged, that has been... There's too many Nyaope people. We have been preaching this shit for too long. For too long. Now it's high time to stand up and fight for South Africa. We don't have a problem with them coming to South Africa. As long as it's proper. There is no pain of losing something and do not find any trace of it. There is no pain of ukuhlukumezeka uhlukunyezwa umuntu ngisho ngabe kuthiwa uyo report uzothi report ubani ngoba konke loyo akekho akathola ndawo. Labantu bafike as abantu bokuzovakasha namhlanje they're owning ama shop, they're owning. We can't even open our own businesses. We can't. Why? Because these people, and most of them, they are almost 98%. Almost 98% of those people, of those foreigners in South Africa, that don't have our papers. No, we are not xenophobic. We are fighting for our country. We don't want to end up like you, to run away from our country, to run away from our problems. Instead of solving our problems in our country, we are running away. No, we don't want to end up like that. We don't. And there are people who are coming here and saying South Africa must be withdrawn on 1, 2, 3. South Africa is xenophobic. South Africa. No, we are not. You have made South Africa a playground for too long. More than 30 years. We're saying enough is enough. Sifuna izwe lethu, sifuna izwe lamapedi, lamaZulu, lamaTsonga, labeSuthu. Abeza South Africa ngokuwumthetho. Abasuka eLesotho coming to South Africa ngokuwumthetho. Sifuna izwe lethu eliphila amaXhosa, eliphila amaVenda. Eliphila amaVenda. We don't want the South Africa that we are in. Everybody must go home. Hamba uye ekhaya kini and open that salon and be a billionaire through salon, because you are saying salon. Everybody in South Africa, every foreigner in South Africa is a salon, a haircut, a hairdresser. No, we are tired. Our brothers are in the streets, but we are tired. Mina ngamane nganqashi bafana ngamane ngingaperform emazweni. We are tired. We want to open our own. We want to do our own businesses. Asikwazi, yey asikwazi. Asikwazi zinja. Asikwazi. Like, who does that? Who does that? Nigerians are making videos. Yeah, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. They must come. Bruh, are you that stupid? To stand in front of everyone and claim someone and claim others' country. Why are you not going home? You all are owning fake IDs. You all are owning fake licenses. You're owning a lot of fake papers, documents. We are frustrated. Enough is enough. Mbokodo sukuma. Sukuma. Asiwona magwala. Zulu people akusizona iqhwaga. No, we are fighting for our country. We are fighting for our country. South Africa, let's unite and fight for izwe lethu, izwe lobabamkhulu. No, enough is enough. We are not against them coming and visit. We still visit. We still travel a lot. But with proper identities and proper documents to travel. Hey bo. Kwanele ke manje kwanele bafana ngamane ngangiqashi mina. Ngamane ngangibhuki ngamane ife icareer yami vele ngeke iziye ndawo uma ukuthi still ngizobekezelela ukuthi ngoba ngincengisa inkwa, ngoba ngifuna uqashwa, ngoba no, enough is enough. Kwanele.
These are the women we love. Yeah, these are the women we love in South Africa. See these ones, patriotic women. You can't beat them. Can't beat them, beauty and brains, because they get it. They understand. It's funny, all of the purple profile women that were calling South African men useless, they seem to be very quiet right now, because it's men in the front lines that are leading. Obviously, you've got the Jacintas and Operation Dudulas and Diles, but as far as ready for war, it's not the women, it's the men. Now the men must fight. After the women have opened their legs to these foreigners, they've gotten their money, they bought properties, they bought cars. Now we must deal with the mess and clean it up and risk our lives because of their recklessness and their selfishness. Do you see that women are the weakest link in South Africa? Black women are the weakest link. It's simple. So it's refreshing when we get patriotic women like this who are talking sense, speaking sense. And it's a shameful thing. Imagine a grown Nigerian man saying, I'm not going anywhere. Bruh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Where's your shame? Where's your pride? Go back home. You're being kicked out. Go home and go fight for your nation and make it better. You're here telling us you're not going home. That's not bravery. That's stupidity. You think you're courageous when you say that. This is the IQ of African men. I keep telling you. The weakest men on planet Earth in the history of the world are African men. Lowest IQ, weakest men. Lowest capacity for reasoning. Useless. No ability to create or build anything. Can't create structures, can't create civilized societies. Weak. I understand why white people dealt with black men the way that they did. I get it. Anyway, guys, it's been 2 hours. I'm going to end it here. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff. Share. Tell your friends, tell your family about analyses of sorts. You get the scoop. You get everything here, both on South African politics and geopolitics. And I tie the globalist agenda into South African politics to help you understand that what's happening in South Africa is happening all over the world. It's not unique to us in the sense that there is an agenda to create a new world order. And we all have to collectively play our part and role in our respective countries to stop that from manifesting. It's all on us. So men have to take their position in this world and fight against the system. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, hi Bebo Rock. Hola.